All right, so the smoke clears in Damascus. Assad finally folds in late 2025. Some say it was a rebel blitz, others blame the wallet. International support dries up, the guy is finished. There's not even time for the dust to settle before every hustler and warlord with a flag or a beard shows up for their piece, right? This is what you call a classic power vacuum. I've seen cleaner sit-downs between rival crews in Newark, I swear.
Vinny, you're not lying. Anytime a strong man falls, the streets do not wait to see who will govern. They start taking over immediately. Syria now is the definition of unfinished business. You got rebel groups, foreign backers, maybe even old regime types still in the shadows. And in the middle of this, international press starts talking about reconstruction and ceasefires. People want to fast forward to the peace photo op, but the real game just begins.
Let's talk Gaza. Third ceasefire. Brokered by the U.S. and Qatar this time, but who's counting? Everyone shakes hands, maybe even hugs for the cameras, but you can see it in their eyes. Nobody trusts anybody. This kind of truce, it buys time, not forgiveness. Reminds me, back in the day, we had a standoff, my crew and the Gallaghers. Whole city was on edge, cigars getting shorter by the minute. We did a sit-down, worked out the numbers. Supposedly everyone walked away fat and happy. But if you're not watching your back in those deals, that's when they make their move. Same thing in post-Assad Syria, surface-level deals, deep cracks underneath. Betrayal is always in the details, and these so-called ceasefires, they're just pauses before the next play.
Exactly, my guy. Fragile peace is just an opportunity for people to reload, not relax. Negotiations buy a little breathing room, sure, but the real drivers are waiting to see who slips first. Syria, Gaza. It's the same lesson. If you want lasting settlement, you need more than signatures on paper. You need teeth behind the handshake. Now Europe, they're playing a different game with Schengen expansion. Bulgaria and Romania finally get in the club. Border checks gone. Traffic easy, you know? For the EU, it sends a big message after Brexit. We're still together. We're moving forward. Even Liechtenstein, small country but they grabbed headlines, legalizing same-sex marriage. On continent where everybody says tradition is king, you see liberal values pushing through the cracks.
Yeah, Europe's handing out membership cards while half the neighborhood's still trying to get in. It's funny because you got integration and then you've got old grudges, right? Peace on paper, tension in the bars. I always mix this up. Liechtenstein, they're the 39th to legalize it, right? Progress marches slow, but it's still marching.
You remember when I ran interference between those two area boys' federations in Lagos? Each side wanted to rule, divide lines by street and market. We called everyone in, made a coalition. Everybody's smiling for the press, but outside, the grumbling and side-eye never stop. It's like Europe. Forward movement, but underlined by silent competition. Building trust when old wounds still day bleed. It's work, real work.
That brings us right back to the States. Trump's round two, unexpected maybe, but the Democrats took the off-year elections by storm. Virginia, Jersey, even New York went blue on redistricting. I gotta admit, didn't see that play coming. Republicans thought they had the board mapped, but they got clipped, issue by issue. You got abortion, immigration. Turns out voters are harder to muscle than Congress.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Trump pulls out those executive orders. Banking access, deregulation, says Project 2025 like it's a reality show. But courts start piling up challenges, that gridlock gets real. The whole world's watching, because if America's divided, then every other alliance, every trade deal, every treaty starts shaking too.
Power respects power, but the crowd always roots for the underdog. This is what you call a surprise on the chessboard. You lose your king or your rook, but it's the pawn coming up the side that changes everything.
My people, 2026, they wave at us already. Everybody's eyes on the U.S. midterms. Analysts say Democrats got momentum. They might flip the House, get control back from Republicans. Math is there. Economic dissatisfaction, midterm losses for President's party, all of that. Senate? Toss-up. Republicans still guarding the gates, but there's fire in the trenches. More than 30 seats contested. Gerrymandering will limit some change, but swing states, especially the old Rust Belt. That's where tides they turn.
Let's not kid ourselves. Whatever the pollsters predict, what matters is turnout and whose loyalty you can buy, borrow, or scare into line. History says the president's party loses seats, sure, but Vinny's law? The hardest fights happen where nobody's watching. And the Democrats, they smell blood. House flips, Senate maybe. Nothing's safe until it's over.
And while America they play her own inner Game of Thrones, global risks stack up. U.S.-China trade beef could go nuclear. Okay, not real nukes, but economic bombs. Ukraine still bleeding, Middle East nowhere close to real peace. And across emerging democracies, they try to shut out noise, but populists show up with megaphones.
Vinny's gonna say it in the third person. The streets remember what the courts forget. You patch the hole, but if you leave the bullet inside, the wound festers. These conflicts, Ukraine, Syria, even our so-called ceasefires, none of them vanish. They go quiet, they morph, but they're still there. Sometimes I wonder if we're just setting the clock for a bigger blow-up later.
See beyond the noise. Truth they hide there. As 2026 approaches, every player tries to build alliances, settle debts, plan their next power grab. If you want real peace, you need courage and memory, remembering history, but not letting it chain your future. Like we say, Sentinel Dawn Speak. Vinny, this was one serious breakdown.
Always a pleasure, Wale. The board's never empty, the watch never ends. We'll be back to call the next moves. Stay sharp, stay dangerous. Goodbye from Vinny.
Stay wise, everybody. We see Una next time. The new Sentinel, signing off.